Beloved, hear me. In this kingdom and in life generally, there is no greatness for a man or woman who entertains excuses. Excuses are the language of mediocrity. Excuses are the bed that men lie upon when they are afraid to pay the price for destiny. Excuses are proof that you are unwilling to press beyond your comfort zone. You must understand that life will never give you what you deserve. Life will only deliver to you what you demand by insight, by discipline, and by determination. Many have buried their potential in the graveyard of excuses. I came from a poor background. I do not have support. No one believes in me. The times are hard. These are languages that tie the hands of destiny and prevent you from advancing. Listen carefully. There will always be reasons to remain small, but it takes vision and courage to silence those reasons. Greatness is not a gift handed over freely. Greatness is for men and women who look at the mountains before them and declare, though it looks impossible, I will arise. The truth is this: no man has ever had all the resources they needed at the beginning. Nobody starts with everything complete. Every man you admire today started by confronting excuses. Some came from families where no one had gone to school, yet they pressed until history was rewritten. Some began from a corner of obscurity, yet they rose to the place of influence because they refused to allow excuses to become a prison. Excuses magnify what you lack and blind you to what you have. Excuses magnify your weakness and silence your strength. But destiny does not respond to excuses. It responds to action. It responds to obedience. It responds to sacrifice. Hear me, if you wait until all conditions are perfect, you will never start. If you wait until everyone claps for you, you will never move. If you wait until you have all the money, all the training, all the encouragement, you will die waiting. The law of greatness demands that you begin even in weakness, even in fear, even when you don't see the full picture. As you move, strength is supplied. As you step forward, helpers are sent. As you kill excuses, you give heaven permission to open doors for you. The reason many remain defeated is because they nurture excuses more than they nurture vision. They give excuses room in their thoughts until those excuses become chains around their hands and feet. But tonight I charge you, kill your excuses, take responsibility for your life. Decide that whether the environment is favorable or not, you will rise. Decide that whether people believe in you or not, you will run. Decide that whether resources come now or later, you will not bury your gift. This is the pathway to greatness. Excuses will always knock at your door, but you must silence them with faith, with vision, and with the courage to act. Refuse to tell stories of why you could not. Choose to write stories of how you pressed through and triumphed. Rise up from where you are. Kill your excuses. Refuse to remain small. Destiny is calling you. Nations are waiting for your rising, and generations are depending on your obedience. Excuses magnify your limitations, but vision magnifies your possibilities. Excuses are like a magnifying glass placed over the weakest parts of your life, making them appear so large that they dominate your mind and paralyze your progress. Every time you give room to excuses, you give life to the very barriers that were meant to be conquered. Excuses remind you of what you lack, where you failed, who disappointed you, and why it is impossible to move forward. They are the voice that says you are not good enough, not qualified enough, not resourced enough. They are subtle chains that hold men back from taking bold steps, convincing them that waiting is safer than trying. When excuses take root in the heart, they blind you to the vast opportunities around you. They make you forget that history is filled with men and women who began with less than you and yet rewrote the narratives of their generation. Excuses keep you rehearsing your disadvantages while vision invites you to focus on possibilities. Vision, on the other hand, is a divine lens. It magnifies not what you lack, but what can be. Vision does not deny challenges, but it refuses to let challenges become the only story. Vision opens your eyes to hidden strength within you, untapped potential, unseen opportunities, and resources you may have overlooked. It takes the same situation that excuses magnify and reframes it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. When a man embraces vision, he begins to see possibilities where others see limitations. He sees progress in the face of lack, opportunity in the midst of difficulty, and growth in the midst of discomfort. Vision is the ability to look beyond the immediate and behold the future with clarity and hope. While excuses make you smaller, vision enlarges your capacity and expands your faith. Excuses say you cannot, vision says you can. Excuses lock you in the prison of fear. Vision gives you wings to fly over it. Excuses are natural to the human condition because the path of least resistance is always attractive. It is easy to explain away failure and justify inaction. It is easy to point to your background, to what you do not have, to the obstacles around you. But greatness was never birthed in ease. Every man or woman who ever rose had reasons to quit, yet they chose to magnify vision instead of excuses. They chose to see tomorrow even if today was full of pain. They chose to see what was possible even when nothing around them looked promising. This is the dividing line between mediocrity and excellence. Mediocrity finds comfort in excuses, while excellence thrives on vision. One expands your fear, the other expands your faith. One locks you in the cycle of pity, the other pulls you into the realm of possibilities. The tragedy of excuses is that they feel comforting in the moment, but they cost you destiny in the long run. They provide a temporary relief, a justification for why you are not progressing, but deep inside they rob you of courage. They build walls around your mind and make you accept less than what you were created for. Vision, however, stretches you beyond the temporary comfort of excuses. Vision forces you to rise, to move, to pursue, to believe. Vision makes you uncomfortable with stagnation because it reminds you of what could be. When you carry vision, you cannot settle for smallness. You cannot excuse mediocrity. You cannot let the voice of excuses define your reality. Vision shouts louder, reminding you that you are more than your fears, more than your failures, more than your present, to magnify your possibilities. Vision teaches you to look at what you have instead of what you lack. Excuses say you only have 5 loaves and 2 fish, but vision sees a multitude fed and baskets left over. Excuses say you are a shepherd boy forgotten in the wilderness, but vision sees a king rising from obscurity. Excuses say you are too old, too late, too disadvantaged, but vision declares that the latter days can be greater than the former. Excuses reduce your perspective to what is visible now, but vision lifts your eyes to what is invisible yet real. Excuses close doors before you even try, but vision compels you to knock until the doors open. Excuses shrink your faith, but vision enlarges it until impossibilities bow. Excuses focus on the obstacles, but vision focuses on the outcome. Every man will face a choice, to magnify excuses or to magnify vision. That choice determines the story of your life. If you magnify excuses, your life will be full of reasons why you could not become all you were meant to be. If you magnify vision, your life will be a testimony of how you defied the odds, how you rose in spite of the challenges, how you refused to be caged by limitations. Life will always give you both options, but it is the one you magnify that gains power. The more you focus on excuses, the stronger they become. The more you focus on vision, the stronger it becomes. Whichever one you feed will eventually dominate your life. That is why it is dangerous to give excuses a voice, because they grow louder and more convincing until you surrender. But vision also grows stronger when you nurture it. Feed your vision with prayer, with discipline, with knowledge, with courage, and it will silence excuses. Forever destiny responds to responsibility, not to explanations. Life has been structured in such a way that outcomes are not given to those who merely desire them, but to those who take responsibility for them. Explanations may comfort you, they may even earn you sympathy from men, but they do not move destiny forward. You can sit with friends and explain why you are not where you should be. You can narrate how your family failed you, how opportunities passed you by, how systems limited you, and though those reasons may be valid, they will not produce change. Explanations decorate failure, but they never transform it. Responsibility, on the other hand, is the force that pulls possibilities into reality. Responsibility is the decision to say, I may not control everything around me, but I will control my response. It is the willingness to bear the weight of change instead of passing it to others. Responsibility is not about blaming circumstances. It is about owning your role in shaping your future. Until a man takes responsibility, he remains at the mercy of excuses and explanations. Destiny is a product of choices, actions, and consistent discipline. Explanations are simply stories told in the absence of results. The world does not remember those who had the best explanations. The world remembers those who produced impact. Responsibility means taking ownership of your growth, your learning, your progress, and your outcomes. It is the refusal to outsource your future to luck or to chance. Responsibility makes you wake up early, train harder, study deeper, pray longer, and invest in yourself when others are asleep. It pushes you beyond convenience into commitment. Responsibility is proof that you are serious about destiny. Without it, even the most powerful dreams remain fantasies. Explanations tell you why you cannot. Responsibility shows you how you can. Explanations waste time rehearsing impossibilities. Responsibility invests time creating possibilities. The weight of destiny is heavy, and only those who accept responsibility can carry it. To complain is easy, to explain is easier, but to take responsibility requires strength. Many people remain average because they stop at the level of explaining. They explain why they failed, why they delayed, why they did not try, and they become experts at telling stories of limitation. But responsibility demands action. It demands that you look at the same barriers and say, what can I do now? Responsibility turns obstacles into assignments. It does not deny the reality of challenges, but it compels you to rise above them. Responsibility will make you confront laziness, confront fear, confront procrastination, and refuse to let them rob you of progress. Responsibility teaches you that results are not a gift, they are a harvest. Explanations are like planting nothing and expecting a field to grow. Responsibility is the act of sowing even when the soil looks dry, trusting that in due time you will reap. Explanations are appealing because they shift the burden away from you. They allow you to point fingers at everything except yourself. It is easier to say I could not succeed because the system is corrupt, because people betrayed me, because opportunities are scarce. While all of these may be true, they are still explanations. Responsibility says even in a corrupt system, even in scarcity, even in betrayal, I will not give up my pursuit of destiny. Responsibility looks for what can be done instead of what went wrong. It is proactive, not reactive. It builds capacity instead of rehearsing weakness. Those who live on explanations will always need others to pity them, but those who embrace responsibility will always find themselves becoming solutions to others. Responsibility moves you from being a victim of life to being a steward of life. It shifts you from the back seat to the driver's seat of your journey. Every man who ever rose to significance came to a point where explanations were no longer enough. They took responsibility for growth, for excellence, for discipline. They understood that destiny only honors those who act. If you study the lives of those who made impact, you will not just hear stories of how life was easy for them. You will hear stories of how they embraced responsibility when it was hardest. They refused to sit back and justify inaction with fine-sounding reasons. They knew that destiny responds only to those who pay the price. Explanations can be rehearsed for years and nothing changes. Responsibility may be difficult in the moment, but it guarantees progress. Explanations make you a slave to circumstances. Responsibility makes you a master over them. Responsibility is a sign of maturity. Explanations are signs of immaturity. Responsibility is the seed of leadership. Explanations are the language of failure. Destiny is not sentimental. It does not respond to tears alone. It does not respond to pity. It does not respond to excuses. It responds to responsibility. The man who will rise is not the one who cries the most, but the one who accepts the demand of discipline. The woman who will advance is not the one who complains the loudest, but the one who takes steps even when it hurts. Responsibility forces you to turn pain into motivation, while explanations turn pain into excuses. Responsibility looks at closed doors and seeks another way. Explanations look at closed doors and give up. Responsibility fuels persistence. Explanations fuel surrender. Responsibility puts you in command of your time, your resources, your energy. Explanations waste those very resources while convincing you that you are justified. Responsibility creates pathways. Explanations create prisons. One opens doors, the other closes them. Before you even try, life will always present two options: to explain or to act. The path you choose determines your destiny. Those who choose explanations will always find reasons to remain where they are. Those who choose responsibility will always find ways to rise beyond where they are. Responsibility does not mean everything will be easy, but it guarantees that everything will move. Responsibility multiplies your capacity and attracts help, while explanations drain your strength and repel opportunities. The moment you choose responsibility, destiny begins to respond. The moment you decide that you will no longer justify mediocrity but instead confront it, doors begin to open. The moment you stop rehearsing reasons and start producing results, your life begins to align with greatness. Responsibility is not optional if you truly desire destiny. Explanations may buy you time, but responsibility buys you impact. Explanations can make you feel good today, but responsibility makes you significant tomorrow. Destiny responds to responsibility, not to explanations.